pretend! Let's pretend! Let's pretend we score the goal!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Coach Killers podcast for episode 14. My name's Stefan. I'm here with Nick. Nick, how's your week been, mate?
It's been good, mate. It's been really good. You know.
Why are you very quiet, mate? What's
not
happened?
Not quiet at all. Not quiet at all.
I think we better kick this episode off.
Yeah, we've got a lot to go through this week.
All right, so let's kick it off, as usual, with our Coach Killer of the Week.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Drum roll, please.
And our Coach Killer of the Week is...
Inter Milan.
Boo!
So why are they our Coach Killer, Stefan? Kick it off.
Absolute garbage, mate. I thought that from last week's performance, they would improve. I watched the match. They had a terrific first half. They went up 2-0, and then all of a sudden in the second half, they got sluggish. They became really slow, very poor with the ball. The game finished 2-2. I could not believe it.
Yeah, they had a lot of hype surrounding them in the pre-season, which now they've completely lost, and I don't think they're going to challenge Juventus.
Yeah, me neither. I had them up there, to challenge, but I got trapped into thinking that way as well. So
yeah, you're very easily persuaded.
that's
just
correct.
Like your Arsenal comment. But Spalletti appeared very frustrated on the sideline with his team, not dealing with the long balls that Torino were constantly bombarding.
Bombarding. Yeah, I think Inter lacked a lot of belief and conviction in their passing. At stages in the second half, they lost just the direction of where they were passing, and they didn't play with each other very well, which is a massive worry for our Inter Milan supporters out there.
There was something Spalletti said. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, so after the game, he actually did at the presser. He said, winning every game becomes frankly tough considering where we're coming from. When he said that, I was like, what the hell are you on about? You're Inter Milan. You made all these signings, spent all this money to try and compete. Mate, you've lost to Sassuolo, you drew to Torino at home.
Yeah.
These guys are absolutely pathetic.
Well, he also said it's difficult to explain how we conceded those goals, but clearly the reality is that the team is struggling with pressure.
Yeah, what pressure? Is that the pressure of competing with Juventus or the pressure that Inter Milan need to climb back into the four, which they did last season? What's the pressure? I don't get it.
I think they've lost their winning culture, mate. It's been so long.
Yeah, I think, look, to me, ever since Mourinho left, they were never the same team.
He's just under pressure, and his comments prove it pretty much.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, you've signed everyone and you've got 1 point on the board after 2 games already, and this Juventus team's too hard to beat, and you need every point you can get if you want to compete.
Exactly.
That's it. It's over for them.
That's right. Well, he might think that Conte or Ranieri might be...
He needs to turn it around.
Waiting for that position.
I agree. He needs to turn it around. They're both available and ready to step in. So, Luciano Spalletti, mate, if you ever get to listen to this, you are an absolute hack.
Well, and that's why Inter is our Coach Killer of the Week. But, let's move on to our Game of the Week.
Oh, you beauty! What a headshot! What a head!
That's right, and our Game of the Week was Napoli versus AC Milan.
What a game it was as well. It was pretty good to watch, finished 3-2. AC Milan, started the game terrifically. With the goal from Bonaventura.
Yeah, the outside of the boot volley. Yeah. Fantastic finish,
awesome
mate.
Goal. They went up 2-0, looked in control, and then what happened?
They just fell asleep, mate. And, it was pretty amusing to see Gattuso was absolutely losing his mind on the sideline, mate. It was the master against the apprentice, Ancelotti against Gattuso, all that success together.
Speaking of Gattuso, first let's say Bakayoko made his AC Milan debut. And after the game, Gattuso hit him up pretty hard.
He ripped into him, didn't he?
He pretty much said, Bakayoko has to learn how to get the ball. We must work correctly. It will not be easy. 1 week is not enough to remove the defects of a player. I would have preferred to be managing older, more experienced club players. Absolutely brutal there.
Mate, that's a stupid comment to make, in all honesty.
He's ripped him.
That whole team was rubbish in the second half. Not just Bakayoko. It's got nothing to do with him. So I think Gattuso's still learning as a manager, clearly. You can't make comments like that and single out players in the media.
Well, how would you feel if that was
Oh,
you?
if I was Tiemi Bakayoko, I wouldn't want to play for AC Milan.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh, mate. Straight up, especially after one game, you know. It's crazy. But Napoli scored 3 goals in 40 minutes. Zielinski was absolutely amazing, 2 goals.
And they were rippers, by the way. Absolute crackings.
They were. You know, Napoli had 24 shots. AC Milan only had 8, so they pretty much dominated.
Yeah, in the second half, they picked up the speed. Ancelotti just fired them up.
All in all, it was a good game, though. But,
Yeah.
You know, Gattuso, you got to calm down, mate. Too much
expectation.
Jumping the ball really quickly.
Yeah.
Jumping off him, you know. He's young. He'll get there, I reckon.
And I don't think making comments like that's going to help his mental capacity, especially with the fact that they're struggling.
It's something to monitor during the season and see how else Gattuso reacts to players that don't perform as well as he would have.
He's a fiery temper, mate, so I wouldn't want to catch him on a bad day. That's
Maybe he can be the coach killer of the week.
Hopefully next week.
But transfer news, what do we got?
Yeah, couple of things that hit both for me at home anyway. Kevin Strootman leaves AS Roma for Marseille.
I think everyone's jumping ship, mate. Strootman's gone. Nainggolan's gone.
Well, apparently, Kevin Strootman went to the airport for the medical. Didn't say nothing for the fans, nothing at all, because Marseille just doubled his wages. Yeah. Why would you double the wages of a guy that's had 2 reoccurring knee injuries and was out?
You can't say he hasn't been a gun for your club.
No, he has, but as well, you know, that's a silly move from Marseille, I reckon.
I think they
paid all that money for
They
him.
know they need to strengthen if they want to do anything because, you know, PSG is running away with it.
I don't think they're going to do anything, though. That's the thing.
But some more news closer to home.
Yeah, Siem de Jong signed for Sydney FC.
Yeah, that's a big deal. He played at Newcastle United and Ajax previously.
Yeah, he was a Dutch international as well.
You know, it's a great marquee signing for Sydney FC.
It'd be good to watch him up against his former teammate, Stephen Taylor, the top man.
When they play Wellington. You know, do you think it's as big as the Honda signing, or do you reckon Melbourne Victory have done better?
No, I think Melbourne Victory have done better. Keisuke Honda's massive. Whereas Siem de Jong, I mean, he's a gun player if you know the world of football, but Honda breaches out beyond football. So
yeah, well, hopefully we can get de Jong on the podcast.
We'll see. Time will
see
tell.
How that goes. But something else that happened during the week.
Yes, we interviewed and had a chat with Andrew Nabbout all the way from Japan this week.
Yeah, we got to sit down with him, and this is how our interview went.
Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest this week won the A-League title with Melbourne Victory and recently represented the Socceroos at the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Please welcome Andrew Nabbout.
How you going, Andrew? It's an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
No problem. So let's just kick off our interview and ask, when did you actually wake up and say, I want to become a professional footballer?
Well, I think it was probably when I was about, about 13 or 14 when I sat down with one of my coaches and, he told me that, you got something special and I think you can go all the way. And that's when it kind of opened my eyes and, since then I haven't really looked back. I've just been working towards being a pro and
awesome,
it came through. So it took a lot of hard work done.
Awesome.
Andrew, look, you played for Sunshine George Cross, Green Gully, Moreland Zebras and Heidelberg. I mean, you're a rare player in the fact that you're one of the only players to play at the elite level from the FFV system. How did you do it and make it to the elite?
Well, funny enough, I'm actually in the process of writing everything, pretty much writing my own story as it happens. But
awesome.
In that I mentioned that it was, I kind of did it the hard way. I mean, a lot of players went through the representative teams. When it was back then, the VIS, AIS, and the kind of state level, the state team representative teams, and I never went through any of that, which. I think helped me a little bit because I think in those teams there's a lot of technical work, but which I think I learned. I learned a lot in the NPL, going through the what was it called back then? The NPL, the VPL. I learned a lot of it in that. I kind of learned the hard way, so it helped me going into the pro system, and I got noticed when I was about 18 by Victory and Melbourne City to trial for the youth team, and I chose victory.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it felt like getting called up by victory, though. The first time.
Yeah, it was unreal. Like, at that point I was 18. I thought maybe it was over because I knew a lot of the young boys at Victory going into the youth team were going in at 14, 15, 16 straight to the VIS and the AIS. So I thought my time was, up and they called me and it was unreal considering I only had, when I actually went on trial, it was the last year that I could have played youth. So it was good for me and, haven't looked back.
Very interesting, yeah. Well,
yeah.
During the week, we put up a post on our Instagram, asking our listeners and fans to put up some questions that, they wanted to ask you. And we've got one here from that journo Bilal, and he asks, do you have any intention of making a move to Europe in the next couple of years, or will you want to stay in Asia?
Look, I'm happy where I am in Japan. I'm at the biggest club in Asia, so the club as a whole is amazing, and I'm really happy with the way they treated me, especially now that I'm injured. They've been amazing. So, I've played in Asia before. I like playing here. It's especially in Japan, it's a good league, and whatever the future holds, I'm not sure. I'm just taking it one day at a time, and obviously, it's nice to be recognised as a player that's played in Europe, and if that
so is that one of your goals?
What's that?
Is that one of your goals, though, to go and play in the big leagues of Europe? Or not saying that the J League isn't big, but you know what I mean?
To play at the highest league in the world, which is, obviously in the European countries, the 5 top leagues is, an amazing achievement. But, at the moment, I'm happy where I am and, we'll see what happens in the future. But, yeah, that's football. I guess you don't really know what comes next.
Yeah,
true.
Look, Andrew, I clearly remember when you turned the game on its head for Melbourne Victory against Sydney FC, obviously coming off the bench, and you scored those 2 amazing goals and you won Melbourne Victory the game. How did you feel to have such an impact in that small amount of time? Like, what did you feel?
Well, yeah, obviously I felt unreal. I mean, the week before that, I came off the bench against Wellington and I didn't really make an impact. And at the time, Andrew was the coach, and he told me, look, I can't afford to put you on the pitch if you're not going to make an impact. I may as well just keep you on the bench. So if I'm going to put you on the next game, I need you to, come on and make a difference. And that really stuck with me. And I went on and scored 2 goals, which ended up winning off the game. So I really took that advice and ran with it. And I've taken that everywhere. No matter what minute I come on the pitch, I'm looking to make a difference. So it was really good advice, and that's why I put Andrew's, the coach that he is.
Yeah,
good point there. So you've played at Melbourne Victory. You've played, for the Newcastle Jets as well. How would you say what is the difference, playing in the J League? Like how far apart is the J League from the A League, in terms of quality?
Well, the technical levels, on a different level here, it's unreal. At any point you think you're going to press a man and win the ball, but then they, play a 1-2 around you and you haven't even seen them. So, they're real nippy, they're real technical players, and just the speed of it is just a lot quicker. They just pop it around one touch, and it's like it's nothing to them. Their technical ability is scary. So, that's the biggest difference. I mean, physicality wise, Australia's one of the highest physical levels in the world. Players are really, really fit, really physical, and extremely quick. So that's a big difference. But technically and the speed of the game is on a different level here.
Well, what about the actual your life? Living in Australia would be completely different
to living in Japan.
Yeah. How do you bridge that gap? You got to love a lot of Japanese food, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit difficult when I first came here, but I've lived away from home for the majority of my career. Other than Victory, I've pretty much lived away from home. I played in Malaysia for a year. I played in Newcastle for 2 years, and I'm now in Japan. So I'm used to living away from home, and coming to Japan, it's the cleanest country I've ever been in, and the people are so respectful. And,
We hear that a lot.
It's it's easy to live here. They make it so easy, and I've got translators everywhere, so
Nice.
And they're football mad, right?
On the pitch, but what's that?
They're football mad. Like, you get a lot of supporters down at the games.
Yeah, we have 40,000 to every game, so
Wow, that's amazing.
that's just for a regular game. If it's a big game, the stadium's pretty full, and it'll be close to 60,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that feels like.
No.
I can't even imagine what it feels like, playing in a World Cup. How awesome was that experience for you? It was unfortunate that you got injured. You know what I mean? But do you think, we could have gone further than we did if you were around?
No, I wouldn't say if I was around, but I think we definitely could have got results in the games that we didn't. I think against France we were very unlucky. I think we at least deserved the draw. We held them for the majority of the game, and but being the team that they are, and obviously they went on to win it. It was they can score at any point in the game. As soon as they turn it on, it's dangerous for anyone. But especially the Denmark game, I feel like we could have got a result there, and we didn't, which was unfortunate. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. Obviously, every young player, or every player in general, dreams of playing at a World Cup, and to start 2 games at the World Cup and play against who ended up being the winners, it was an amazing experience. And, I can look back on at the end of my career and say that was definitely a big goal that I picked off, and something that I can share with my kids.
Yeah,
hopefully one day in the future.
So, you got to play against France in the first game. When you were lining up in the tunnel, did anyone say anything to you? Did you get anything from Paul Pogba or Griezmann?
Yeah.
Nah.
No?
I'd be surprised if they even used what I were.
Oh, come on,
mate.
Did anything happen in the tunnel? Like, do you, try and psych each other out or anything like that?
No, not really, man. Like, especially that first game against France, obviously it was my first game at a World Cup against, at that time we're the favourites to win the whole tournament. And
you played well as well.
I did all right. I just ran.
No, you played well, mate.
No, but look, at the end of the day, I just tried to go out there with a smile on my face and enjoy it. I felt like if I really tried to psych myself up, I'd lose focus of enjoying it and actually taking in everything, because it's not often that you get to play at a World Cup. So I just went out there with a smile on my face and tried to enjoy it and just do my job as much as I could.
Yeah. Well, look, moving on from the World Cup, Andrew, I'm not sure if I'm right in saying this, so tell me if I'm right or not. I remember in high school, quote me if I'm wrong, you're a mad Liverpool fan. Am I right?
I am, yes.
Yes. I just want to know, look, us as football fans can only dream of this scenario. What was it like to line up against Liverpool at the MCG in front of 90,000 people on a Wednesday night?
Oh, yeah, that was another amazing moment.
Yeah.
It was, it was unreal. And even Gerard after the game came out and said that he's never heard, that song being sung like that. And, it was a different level to play against those players.
And playing against your idols, right?
Exactly. They're the players that I grew up watching and the players that I idolise. And, it was unreal, honestly. No words can describe it. It was out of this world.
Do you still follow them regularly? Like, are you still, following the EPL, following Liverpool?
Yeah, as much as I can, yeah. Obviously, it's a bit difficult because the games are on, in the middle of the night sometimes, and it's a bit tough. But I try to follow it as much as I can, and usually at training in the mornings they have the highlights on, and I love kind of keeping up with it as much as I can. But my focus is here in the J League at the moment.
How do you think Liverpool will go this season?
I think they'll, for me, I think they'll go one better this year. I mean, they've got the players, they've got the right, direction. They've got a really good coach that's obviously putting them on a good path, and I think they can go on better this year. Yeah,
that's fair enough,
mate. And moving on from all your past experiences and the World Cup, I mean, currently you're in the J League in Japan, which is an awesome league to be playing in. What are your expectations for Uruguay? What's the goal?
My goal at the moment is to be back fully fit playing again. Obviously, my shoulder surgery, I'm still a few months off playing, but I think, my main goal now is to be as fit and as strong as possible for the time that I return, and to be ready to, help my team progress up the ladder. Obviously, we're about mid-table at the moment, and my goal is to get up that table as soon as I get back, and another big goal is for me to be ready for Asian Cup, whether chosen or not. I want to put myself in contention, and it's my job to get ready for it.
How are you tracking with your injury? Is everything on track with your recovery?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm feeling really strong, really stable, and really fit. So, I'm getting there step by step. Obviously, it's a long, grueling process, but it has to be done. And I'm just looking forward to coming back and playing. And I look out on that pitch every day and wish I was out there. But it is what it is. Football is a rough game sometimes, and you have to deal with injury. And that's the part a lot of people forget. That but that's why I chose this. It's rewarding, but it's tough at the same time. But no, my goal is hopefully not hopefully. I'll be back in a few months.
Yeah, you will, mate. Back better than ever.
That's it. Well, just on that, mate, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you giving up your time all the way from Japan. It's great to see a local boy from Victoria, make it to the top, and you certainly have done everyone proud, mate. I'm sure there are plenty more World Cups still to come and plenty more trophies that are going to be in your cabinet, mate. So thanks again, and all the best for the upcoming season, mate.
All the best. Thank you very much. You're absolute professional and a very humble person, so we really appreciate that, mate. Andrew.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
And hopefully we can have you on during the season and check in on your progress in Japan and see how things are going.
It'll be my pleasure.
Thanks, mate.
My pleasure.
All the best, bud. Wish you well.
And good luck with the recovery, mate. Thanks.
Thank you. See you later.
Yeah, absolute fantastic interview there with Andrew Nabbout. So really top-class player, very humble, and we thank him for his time all the way from Japan, mind you. Yeah, and, we found out that he's writing a book about his story on how he got to being an elite player that he is, You went to high school with him, didn't you, Stefan? Is he going to mention you? No.
Is he going to give you a little mention there?
No,
Did you do anything for him back then?
Nah, mate, no.
But, still, he remembered you and whatever, and he gave us the interview, so very humble person.
Top, honestly,
best of luck with all the recovery, Andrew, and, we hope to have you on again.
And see you in the Socceroo smacking in the goals,
Yeah,
mate.
That's it.
Moving on, let's talk about the English Premier League. We'll kick it off with what happened this morning, the absolute shambles. Do you want to start?
Not really shambles, mate. A lot better display than what we had against Brighton last week. We outplayed them. We killed them all over the pitch, except for it counts on the goals.
Thank you.
But that's fine. Everyone has their off days.
I agree.
It's good that we're getting them out early now, and then we can dominate the rest of the season. Yeah, so not much else really to say on there. We played...
Where's the problem?
The problem was the finishing today, mate, and that's it. But
to say the team plays well after losing,
we played absolutely amazing game, except we just couldn't take our chances. We had the ball more, we had more chances, but the little chances that they got their first corner in the 50th minute and scored a goal. What can you do about that? You know what I mean? We defended well for the first 50 minutes, and then you give up a corner and they score. Just unlucky, and that's it. So, as I said,
apart from the game, I just want your opinion because you're such a dedicated fan to Manchester United.
What's your question?
Apart from the match, which you said you won and you're really happy with the performance, losing 3-0, and you're wrapped with that, which is ridiculous.
I'm not wrapped with that. Obviously, I wanted them to win, but it was 100 times better than how we played. We actually showed something.
All right, you might improve in a few weeks. Who knows?
We're getting these crap results out now, and then the rest of the season is going to be domination. You watch. It's going to be more right than Arsenal winning the Premier League.
Hope you're right for your sake, mate.
Well, Belgium not making out of the group. Sorry to bring up old stuff.
That's all right. And just
to prove my point,
just like I said, Croatia and England would go far, and they both made the semi-final. Yeah. That's right.
I can see Arsenal's going to win the title.
They'll make the 4. But I want to know, after in the press conference, Mourinho with his comments, how he is when shit hits the fan, and he starts to clutch at straws pretty much.
How is he clutching at straws?
He's starting to say that he won.
That he's the best manager.
He's saying
He's the best manager.
He's not the best manager.
Who's better than him? Give me one manager that's better.
Currently, right now, it's Pep Guardiola. Man.
How is Guardiola better than Mourinho?
He mauled him last season.
We're talking overall.
Yeah, but Guardiola's got 2 Champions Leagues. Mourinho's got 2 Champions Leagues.
That's right, and he's got 3 Premier Leagues. How many does Guardiola have? Just the one.
That's all right.
That's right. So he's not better than him.
The big point is, hang on, no, all right, that's your opinion. But
that's right now. We're talking right now. Not
yeah, right now, Pep Guardiola is a better manager than him. That is right now. He
right
is.
now,
if we go by, hang on, if you go by statistics, right, on all the managers, then it's going to be Sir Alex Ferguson and Carlo Ancelotti that are the best managers. Fergie's out of the job, and Ancelotti's coaching Napoli.
We're talking about current Premier League managers.
It's Pep Guardiola.
It's
Pep
not.
Guardiola.
It can't be because he's not the most successful manager in the league. It's Mourinho.
He's
got more titles.
Success in history, or are you talking
in their career, in their own career?
So in history, overall. You're not talking right now, present day.
Well, present day, neither team has won anything this year. So
hang on a sec.
What?
Present day, I'm going off
what,
the back
they've won
of last
3 games,
season.
we've won 1 game. Is that what you're basing it on?
No, I'm going off last season, right?
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the Premier League, and he still is until someone can beat him.
He's not. He can't. He's.
Well, that's
you even said it yourself that he's overrated. All right.
He's a bit overrated, but the sad fact is that a guy like Jose Mourinho is catching him for points. He's trying to catch up to him already. That's the sad fact of the matter.
Every team will go through it. And look at Man City anyway against Wolves. They dropped points.
They slipped up. It's going to be tight this year.
It happens.
But of course it happens. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. But what I want to know is, right, just because he won the 3 Premier Leagues with the other teams when he was, I'd say, a better manager, right, at managing a little team.
How can you become a worse manager?
No, you can't become a worse manager. But what I mean is he was better at managing mid-tier teams. We know Manchester United.
But he managed Chelsea. Chelsea
weren't much of a massive
but the
powerhouse
second time
of England.
he came around.
The second time he came around and he won it again. They're more established. They're a bigger team, right?
So they're not a mid-table team.
What I'm saying is...
So what are you saying?
At that stage, listen to me, right?
Okay.
He goes to Porto, right? Wins the Champions League with Porto. Right. Ridiculous.
He doesn't go to Barcelona and win the Champions League. He doesn't go to Bayern Munich and win the Champions League. He doesn't go to Man City and just win the Premier League.
But this is my point. This is the point I'm getting at. This is over, nearly 20 years ago now. So... Porto. Then he goes to Chelsea, who at that stage aren't travelling very well, right? Wins them the Premier League, which was a great achievement. Leaves, goes to Real Madrid, wins La Liga.
Anyway, I'm going to cut you off because you're rambling on.
No, hang on.
We'll talk about this later because we've got a fan talk question in regards to this. So
we do. That's
we'll discuss this
Fantastic.
later on. But yeah, so Wolves again. You know, they're as good as Man City since they drew with them. You know, according to your logic. Wolves is on the same level. You know, since Tottenham's better than Manchester United.
That's not what I'm saying.
All right, because they drew.
You misread me wrong. You're just an angry Man United fan. That's all it is.
Well, Tottenham's better than United because they're better. So that means...
Currently, yes, Tottenham is better than
So then Man City is the same as Wolves because they drew.
No.
Based on the game.
Because Man City didn't lose, unlike you guys.
But they drew, so they're the same. They're equal footing.
No.
That's what draw means.
No.
It's equal.
I don't call equal footing a handball going in from Wolverhampton.
Hey, bring in VAR. What we've been saying for ages.
That's the Premier League, mate. They're a bit behind. Lack of standard in the refs.
It's just I don't know why they haven't brought in. No idea.
Anyway, back to the game. Manchester City, a lot of chances, didn't get up in the end.
That's right.
Finished 1-1. So apparently, on my logic,
they're the same.
Man City and Wolves are the same.
Yeah. So Wolves is now a contender according to you.
That's it. Wolves will make the 4.
Yeah. It just shows that it's wide open anyway. Like, anyone can win it.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for that handball, it would be a bit of a catch-up already for the other teams, such as Man U.
It's not like Wolves only
Arsenal.
had the one shot and they scored it. They had a lot of opportunities.
And so did Manchester
They put one
City.
away as well that was called offside, rightfully.
Rightfully, so you can't say that.
But I'm saying the way they played, they outplayed City.
They probably deserved more. They probably
really.
deserved more, but in the end, the ladder reads what it reads. The game finished a draw.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's it. Maybe they were just
on the day Man City were unlucky and they drew.
Off day like Manchester United.
Exactly, we're having an off day. Anyway, I'm glad you finally agree.
Moving on from that, Arsenal got their first win under Unai Emery, and they're going to challenge for the title, mate. You watch, they're going to come out of nowhere. Beating West Ham 3-1 at the Emirates. Great performance. I'm not going to lie, I don't know how they won.
Are you still on this?
Still on this. Their defence was absolutely shocking, Arsenal.
Yeah,
I can't believe they
it's
even
been
got
the
the
same.
result.
That hasn't changed.
They even got the result, which is so surprising. Against Manuel Pellegrini's West Ham, mind you.
They weren't convincing at all in their win.
No. I think now they will... obviously the confidence will spur them on, but we'll see where they can go from here. Who knows? I mean, it's close, so...
What was your take on Liverpool?
Yeah, they scraped a win against Brighton Hove Albion.
Yeah, barely
1-0.
won.
Yeah,
Barely
not
won.
not good enough for a team that they reckon they're competing for an EPL title.
It's open, mate. No one is playing well now. No team. It's still the start. Every team's had limited preseason, some more than others. You know, some teams have had 9 players away. Some teams have had only 2. But it doesn't matter.
Is that your excuse book over there? No.
No, it's just, it is what it is. Well, it shows Liverpool should be beating Brighton based on all the signings and everything that they've made and all the hype. But they've gotten around and they've, gotten over the line, which
The
is
question is for this season, are they going to be massive pretenders? Or are they actually
they're always pretenders, mate.
Are they going to last the course of the year is what I want to know. It's fine to be beating these little minnow teams now.
Barely beating them.
Man U slipped up, Man City slipped up, Arsenal slipped up, but at the end, I'm sure they're all going to be clustered together. Like
And
a nice
Alisson,
Cocoa
what about
Pop.
Alisson's little display? His tricks.
I don't know about that. You're a goalkeeper, you're coming out.
He nearly got caught on it once, and then he does that trick.
I think they're going to have
God.
to have a word to him, mate.
Yeah.
It's not suitable.
Well, Klopp backed him, apparently.
Well, we'll see.
He did the right thing.
I tell you what, Karius was made a
else was I
joke
gonna
of the Champions League final for just trying to catch a ball and it slipped. But what'll be an even bigger joke is if Alisson runs out and gets caught out like that.
We can only hope, anyway. But Chelsea have won 3 in a row now.
Yes,
They've
on
just beat
fire.
Newcastle 2-1.
Yes.
I wouldn't say on fire.
Of course you wouldn't.
Well, they've been playing the most consistent.
Maurizio Sarri's got them on his side, which is good.
I think, all right, Sarri might have a small part to play, but Jorginho, mate, he's been the difference for them.
Well, that's what you get,
Consistency.
mate. An Italian midfielder, mate. What more do you want?
He's Brazilian. Let's
He's
get
Italian,
it right. But in the game, he had 158 successful passes. Can you guess how many Newcastle had as a whole team?
I've got no idea. How many? 300?
131 successful
Wow.
passes.
That's rubbish. So
Right?
he's just dominated them.
And then you take into account the 82% possession. This is why they won the game. He controlled the whole game.
This is what I'm saying. Maurizio Sarri's game plan from Napoli is exactly what Chelsea are doing now. They dominate the possession. They control the whole match, right? And that's why they nearly beat Juve with the average batch of money and players and whatever they had in comparison. But, mate, I tell you what, I don't know if they can win it, but it's going to be a little bit tight after this. I want to see if they can beat someone big.
I think they'll end up finishing 4th or 5th, as when we did the previews.
You said they were outside the top 4, not 4th.
Yeah, I said 5th Europa League they were going to finish. But,
okay,
4th or 5th, it's doable. Like, if they keep going and, continuing how they're going, that's obviously a chance. They could even win it. Who knows? It's going to be very close.
I want to give a quick mention as well, just before we wrap up this EPL segment, to Watford, mate, who are on fire, remaining unbeaten. All right, they haven't versed anyone big, but Pereira for them is having a massive season, it seems. Firing in all these wonder goals, giving these assists out. I really hope that in 2 weeks' time...
you realise it's game week 3, right? Like, calm down.
Of course, but, they've done well. For a team that's always battling relegation...
Who
They're
have
sort of
they
out of it
played?
already.
Who have they played?
They've played no one, but my point is...
That's right. So
my point is
who
job
cares?
done early.
I guess.
For relegation. 9 points already in the bag.
I guess, yeah, that's good for them.
That's what I want to mention.
But
what do you
game
think
week 3, mate.
What do you think this podcast is? We only mention the big teams. We take into account every team, all right?
Hey, if after 10 games you're telling me they won 8, I'll be like, that's...
Yeah, well, we'll see.
That's quality.
I don't know about that, but...
it's only game week 3, so let's move on.
Let's just forget everything that happened.
Let's move on to the Bundesliga.
Right. Bundesliga back on the weekend.
Yeah, some big results for the big clubs.
Yeah, Bayern wins 3-1, and then Dortmund beat RB Leipzig 4-1, which I didn't expect.
Yeah, massive result there for them. Good
But
start for Bayern.
Leverkusen losing 2-0 to Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Yeah, well, we had Gladbach in our top 4s.
With Leverkusen as well.
With Leverkusen too. It's the first game, I think they'll still surprise this season, as I said. But we'll
For
see.
me, it's over already, mate.
You reckon?
Yeah, Bayern's won it.
Bayern's won it. Yeah, Bayern's still going to win it.
After week 1.
But, they'll still show something, I think.
Yeah.
Also, we'll move on to League One.
Allons y font.
Yeah, PSG, are flying with Cavani, Neymar, and Mbappe, getting on the score sheet with their 3-1
How
win.
good's that? Imagine looking at your team's score sheet, seeing all those 3 players scoring. What a gift.
It's not bad.
What a gift to have.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
No,
But
that's a
it's
great gift.
Mickey Mouse League anyway.
Doesn't matter about that, mate. I'm talking about the team, not the league. We already know, PSG and Dijon are on 9 points, but we know there's no way in hell Dijon's going to challenge.
Well, no one's
going
to challenge.
PSG's have won it as well.
That's right. All right, so it's time for...
Fan Talk.
When my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
So let's kick it off. Who's our first question from, Stefan?
Our first question's from our first giveaway winner, Luke.Norman9. So it's great to see he's still interacting with the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
He wants to know our thoughts on Newcastle's tactics against Chelsea or any team playing defensively, letting a team attack them over and over. So basically, what we think about the game that happened between Newcastle and Chelsea, and are there any teams that are doing well with a defensive approach?
Well, Newcastle, I don't know if they defended or they just couldn't get the ball off Chelsea.
I think they obviously set up a bit more compact. They were hard to break down.
Well, they were playing on the counter.
Visually, yeah. So they did set up compact. I'd say they're...
And it's smart to do that against the bigger teams.
And it nearly worked for them. I mean...
Almost. It was only 2-1.
Yeah. So that was a good effort. But what other teams would we say defensively...
Wolves played like that against City and got a result.
I think you could say that, yeah. So I'd probably say Wolves, Newcastle.
Yeah.
I mean, the Premier League's all about attack and pace. So to set up defensively, I don't think is the right move at all in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's not the Italian league where you just sit and pass at the back.
That's it. That's correct. It isn't.
And fall asleep. No offense to any Serie A viewers, but it's boring. What's our next question?
Our next question is from Damiano.cnt. This guy sounds like a Serie A fan. You claim Mourinho deserves respect, but in the last 8 years, he had arguably the best teams in the world and only managed to win one international trophy, the Europa League, while failing in the Champions League every year. Can you explain why you think he is the best coach in the league? Because I don't even think he makes it to the top 10 in Europe. Whoa! There's one for you.
I don't know who this guy is, but he's a
question.
bit delusional there because who's better than him in the Premier League? Pep Guardiola hasn't challenged in the Champions League, while he's been at City. They've done nothing.
Neither has Man United.
We haven't either, right? But it doesn't matter. We've won the Europa League.
Oh, wow.
No, but he's talking...
Unai Emery won the Europa League 3 years in a row with Sevilla.
Well, we're talking with their current team.
But you can't say that because then they just signed on as managers like Unai Emery.
You just read the question out. I'm answering the guy's question.
Yeah, all right. Answer it correctly, though.
I am. That's right.
So give us your answer.
That he does deserve the respect because he's the best Premier League manager at the moment right now, controlling any Premier League team. There's no one better. If... Pep wins it this year and wins it next year, the Premier League, and wins the Champions League, then you can probably say Pep's better than Mourinho. But we know that he's rubbish and that he's overrated.
I tell you what, okay, well, that's your view. I tell you what, this question that he got the stats right, it's true about Mourinho. He's only won the Europa League, and that's it in the last 10 years, with the English team.
Well, that's wrong because he won the Premier League with Chelsea within the last 8 years. So he's wrong. I don't know where Damiano's getting his stats.
I think, I agree with Damiano. He's not the best manager in the Premier League.
time to move on. Rubbish question.
No. I have to say my view. I think he's correct in the fact that Mourinho slipped behind now. He's no longer the best manager in the Premier League. It's Pep Guardiola.
Better?
It's Pep Guardiola.
And why is Pep Guardiola? How is he better than Mourinho? Look at their CVs, mate. That's what you base it on, right? Their history, what they have on their resumes.
Yep.
He's still miles in front.
Pep Guardiola has a lot of evolution left in him. He's younger. He's more adjusted to a modern style.
Maybe
of play.
at the end of Pep's career, he'll be better. But at the moment,
I'm talking about at the moment as well. It's Pep Guardiola for me. He's the manager on the rise. He's the manager that's going to break Mourinho's record. How can he be better if
Mourinho's more successful? How can you say that he's better?
I can say it just like I said that Man United played well in a 3-0 loss to Tottenham Hotspur.
It's like saying Mo Salah is better than Ronaldo. Because Mo Salah scored more goals last season than Ronaldo.
But he didn't.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's your example. And you're saying, because
Pep
Mo Salah
is
is younger
in the Premier League right now.
Ronaldo's old, right?
No, but I think Pep Guardiola will be a far greater manager than Jose Mourinho.
We're talking about right now, mate.
Not at the end of his career. I'm talking right now as well.
But who's better right now?
Pep Guardiola. I'd rather have Pep Guardiola than Mourinho. Mourinho, for me,
So you pick Salah over Ronaldo then based on your things?
No, I'm saying his style of play is outdated now at the moment. So I think Pep Guardiola is the innovator, not Jose Mourinho.
I don't know what you're basing it on, but anyway,
You're
that's
just
your
a Man
opinion.
United fan. Thank you, everyone, for your fan talk questions, regardless of our answers. Keep them coming, and that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. But let's move on to some big games coming up during the week. In League One, we've got Lyon versus Nice.
Yep.
And Monaco versus Marseille.
Wow, what a big
Some big games there. FFA Cup this Wednesday, the 29th of August. We've got Melbourne City taking on Newcastle Jets.
Yep, let's hope Daniel Georgievski hits a header in, mate, and celebrates and goes nuts on Wednesday night.
Go the Jets there.
Ooh, yeah.
And our what's going to be our game of the week next week?
It'll be the monster clash of Italy, AC Milan versus AS Roma.
So the big team versus the little team.
If you like to put it that way,
the David
you can.
versus the Goliath, whereas Goliath wins this time.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll see, though. We'll see.
Goliath won this morning. Tottenham Hotspur.
I can't wait to rip into Roma next week, mate. We'll see how that goes. The Champions League the Champions League group draw.
I can't wait.
Comes out this week, so tune in next week. We'll go through the groups and give you who our tips and who we think will make it through.
Yeah, also we have more big news that we told you about last week. So Andrew Duranto from the Wellington Phoenix, the captain of the mighty Wellington Phoenix, will be on our show next week.
Yeah, huge. Can't wait to sit down and chat with him. And that's it for today's show. Another big thank you to Nabbout for his wonderful interview all the way from Japan. He's an absolutely professional, humble person, just a superstar all around.
Don't forget, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify and iTunes, all at Coach Killers Podcast. Follow.
Yes, and just remember, when you're on the toilet sitting there with your phone in your hand, scrolling through social media, just throw up a status saying, hey, go check out the Coach Killers Podcast, or, just share the content. I guarantee you won't regret it.
But don't share what you are doing at the time.
No, don't share that. But, as always, you've been great, and we've been the Coach Killers Podcast. Until next week, everyone.
Jose Mourinho, get the sack.
Rubbish shit.